So the UFC 291 pre-fight press conference just happened yesterday, and if you happen to miss it, do not hold your breath. You didn't miss anything. It's the same old shit that's been happening for pretty much years now, with the same old boring answers, the same old dumbass questions from the reporters, the same old just overall snooze fest in these press conferences. And I wouldn't blame somebody. If someone came up to me and was like, hey,
I'm never ever watching a pre-fight press conference by the UFC ever again,
I wouldn't blame you. I genuinely wouldn't blame you. This recent press conference was stacked. We had Kevin Holland, who is nicknamed Big Mouth. We had Michael Chiesa, which I guess whatever, but he's a reporter. He's a commentator for the UFC. He should have some personality, right? No, he was boring as hell. We have Poirier Gaethje, which they gave the same old basic ass answers as ever. We had Pereira and Blachowicz, was I don't expect too much from them, to be honest with you. We had Bobby Green and Tony Ferguson, which those two alone have a ton of personality to them. We know that for sure, that Tony Ferguson brings it to the press conferences. He's always interesting, always saying something that's, somewhat cool to the audience, but this time he shut that shit all down. Didn't say anything, bro. Kind of just didn't want to talk, didn't want to be there. It was boring. Bobby Green, made it a little bit exciting with how he was talking trash to Tony Ferguson, but he didn't care. He did not care at all. This press conference was some of this boring shit ever. We also had Wonder Boy and Michelle Pajea, which I guess, I don't know. Wonder Boy's a nice guy, so nothing interesting was going to happen there anyways. But overall, this press conference could have been one of the best ever that we've seen in years. It simply could. It had all the makings to be that good of a press conference, and it was completely dog shit. It was not even watchable. I literally was about to fall asleep at work watching this shit. It was that bad. Overall, man, I'm just done watching these press conferences. I'm still going to watch them anyways because I don't want to miss anything that could happen that would be, some content to my channel, but I'm going to dread it every time now. It's going to be something I don't look forward to doing because these conferences are just completely uninteresting. Man, it's been, I think 290 was somewhat boring, 289 was somewhat boring, 288 was boring. Like, they're all kind of just boring. It's just so lame, and you kind of have to watch them because you don't want to miss anything that can happen. There's always that potential that there's some trash talk going on, or maybe somebody gets up out of their seat and maybe somebody just fights on the stage, and the face-offs are always interesting as well to see how people match up size-wise. But other than that, man, it's just can't wait for Saturday, man. I'm going to beat this guy and KO him on Saturday. I'm going to tap this guy out on Saturday. Just can't wait for Saturday. Wait till Saturday. I know for a fact that the fight is Saturday. Thank you for telling me, Michael Chiesa, at the press conference that his fight is Saturday. I didn't know that. Holy shit. Thank you, Michael Chiesa, about telling me about your fight on Saturday that I know is happening. I want to know right now how you feel about Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland insult his mom. He gets mad about that. Make some content, please. Don't make it boring, but it's always the same old shit. And partially, it's on the reporters for asking the same dumb ass basic questions. There's never a big follow-up, you know what I mean? And the one time this happened, it was the Jorge Masvidal and Kevin Holland beef. I think back in 280 something. I think it was for a pay-per-view card. But Kevin Holland and Jorge Masvidal had beef in the background or backstage, and a reporter actually had a good question for once, actually had a solid, decent question, and tried to play into the beef between Jorge Masvidal and Kevin Holland. And Dana White shut that shit down immediately, said no more questions about that. What? Are you actually serious? They don't want to make money. They don't want to promote fights. They don't want to have more people buy the pay-per-view fights because, listen, what makes people want to buy the fight or buy the pay-per-view is the matchup itself and the hype around it. And when you're doling the hype around it, that means less people are going to buy the pay-per-view. We need trash talk. We need a push or a kick at the weigh-ins. We need somebody getting emotional. We kind of need that in the sport, and when you're kind of shutting it down, it makes everything so much more lame than what it should be. So it's on the reporters for asking John Anik dumbass questions like, how do you feel about the card tonight, John Anik? Give me some promo. I don't care. I do not care, and nobody really cares about it at all. Asking Dana White about some fight in the future, that's not here right now. Right now, we're talking about this current pay-per-view card. Nobody fucking cares about what's happening in the future as of right now. This is not about fucking Costa and Chimaev. This is about fucking Gaethje and whatever. And that didn't happen at this press conference, but it's happened so many times before. It's not about that. And then these fighters don't have any personality to them. The Cannonier and Adesanya press conference, all we heard was Cannonier rambling off for 20 minutes about some bullshit about him fighting him on Saturday night. I don't care. Some of these fighters need to get their shit up, get their game up. If they want to make more money, this is a big thing. If fighters want to make more money in the UFC, they have to be promotable. They have to be interesting. They have to have fans. And you sitting there talking about Saturday night does not bring any more fans to you. It just doesn't. If you want bigger name value, be interesting. Make people either hate you or make them love you. Either one works. People are going to back you no matter what or hate you no matter what. Play into the heel role or play into the babyface role. It's like WWE. I hate referencing that, but it's like WWE. You have to play into a certain role if you want attention around your name. And these fighters with their same basic ass, boring ass questions is like, bro, you're not gaining anything from this. You're just talking. You're just being a person. You're being an NPC right now. You're an NPC fighter. And I don't want to shun the fighters too much because their job is to fight, not be the most interesting person you've ever met in your life. But when you complain about how you're not getting paid, maybe try to be a little bit more interesting in a press conference. I can definitely help your case by bringing more name value to you so that the UFC will be willing to pay you more money. It's extra negotiations on top of that. It is what it is. So if you want to make more money in the UFC, bring more name value. Look at Paddy Pimblett. He came in making 10 for 10 and he was like, fuck that. I sell out arenas at fucking the O2. Give me more money. So on his next contract, he's making more fucking money because Paddy Pimblett is an actual name. You have to base how much money you're going to get in the UFC by how highly you're ranked and your name value. So fighters need to somewhat try to make fans or make people hate them if they want to make more money around their fights. It's really that simple, but I'm not going to talk too much about that because I think it's partially on the UFC. Listen, weigh-ins are Friday. Everybody's cutting weight that whole week, and you're having it on Thursday. And Thursday is probably one of the hardest days of their weight cut. It probably is. That night, they're going into their weight cut. They're going the full drain mode. They're already pretty much drained. So I can see how there can be some mental strain on these fighters talking to a big press conference, and they might be done or be exhausted by the time they get to it. So maybe the UFC should probably try to push back the press conference, maybe I would say a week before, or maybe sometime earlier in the week, like a Monday or a Tuesday, so that these fighters aren't completely drained and just bored on the stage because they just want it to be over with so that they can finish cutting their weight or finish doing their weight cut. It feels like these press conferences are set up to fail from the start. They don't want anybody to be good. The reporters are trash. The fighters are drained and they're not interesting a lot of the times. These conferences are not meant to succeed. And every now and then we do get a fighter that comes in like a Sean Strickland who can be interesting, or Adesanya every now and then can be interesting. I like it when fighters at least try. Like when Mike Mallet tried, that made me happy. Even if he's not the most interesting person or he's the most, Conor McGregor at press conferences person, if he's at least trying or putting in some effort to do some promo or to make this an interesting fight or just hype up the fans, I always appreciate that and I respect that because it tailors to us as an audience. But when you're not even trying, I'm just like, bro, do not sit here and get mad when you're not making as much money as you want to because you're not being interesting. But I guess from now on, I'm just going to sit back and wait for a Sean Strickland or a McGregor or somebody who is, has a history of being good at Marvin Vettori as well. But wait for one of those guys to pop up so I can, look forward to a press conference. Other than that, man, I'm gonna be dreading it every time I watch it. I'm gonna be struggling to get through it at work, and I don't know. I don't want to shit on the fighters too much because they are going through a weight cut as they go to this press conference. I know the media day can be, the whole week is probably exhausting with media day and then the press conference, and as well as they're cutting weight and preparing for a fight. So I can kind of understand for them not being as interesting as they can be, but at least put some effort into it. You know what I'm saying? Put a little bit of effort into trying to be interesting and trying to hype up the crowd or whatever. And the reporters, man, fuck the reporters. They have no excuse for asking their dumbass questions. There's no reason in the world you should be asking Dana White dumbass questions about the future. You should not be asking Dana White about a fight or where they're gonna go for Abu Dhabi, or I don't know, like where they're gonna go for, if they're gonna go back to Florida. Like, no, who cares? You guys are asking terrible questions. Start some beef. Do something. Like, I don't know. If I was a reporter, man, I feel like I could like go in there and like make it, or have some good questions. The guy who asked about the betting advice, are you a lock for this Saturday night? Shut the fuck up. No. That's boring. That's lame. Stop. I don't know. I just hate these. I hate these reporters, man. I really don't like them at all. I feel like most of them are not really even good. John Morgan's all right, I guess. Still kind of boring, but at least I don't know, he's committed to the game of being a reporter. But the other ones, man, fuck out of here. Like, I don't like them at all. But I don't know, man. It is what it is at this point. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for getting up to this point. I surely do appreciate it. Make sure that subscribe button and that bell icon as well for notifications. Reporters, fix your shit. Please, UFC press conferences, make it better. Please. I'm out of here. Peace.